Namaste and welcome. I am Pratim Ranjan Bose and you are watching my podcast Perspective. It's Bengali New Year's Day today, so best wishes to you all. In this episode, I'll discuss the wide-ranging impacts of Trump tariffs on the world economy. The most critical of these impacts is on employment. Emerging economies in Asia and Africa, especially the smaller ones that gave in to Chinese money bags in recent years, should prepare for an unemployment tsunami. It has already reached their shores through Industry 4.0 and the US China tariff war that began in 2017. The latest and probably the final round of the trade war may escalate this trend manifold. Low-end factory jobs might vanish faster than ever. To understand what is happening, we need to go back to 1995 when the US-led West created the World Trade Organization to promote rule-based liberalized trade among market economies around the world. That was a time when the Soviet bloc had collapsed and Soviet Russia disintegrated into several market economies. So their entry into the WTO was expected. However, the inclusion of a totalitarian China, a non-market economy, was not expected. The US changed the rules and brought China into the WTO in 2001. The idea was to profit by producing goods in China using cheap Chinese labor. The plan worked out, but in Beijing's favor. China became the factory of the world, acquired technology, and started competing with the West in the global market. China created a huge trade surplus, while the US trade deficit widened. The US has been preparing to retaliate since 2012. President Donald Trump launched a tariff war against China during his first term between 2016 and 20. Now he has a bigger plan. In a mother of all disruptions, the US is now asking everyone, including rich free trade partners, to buy more American goods or face high tariffs. Trump wants to reduce America's trade deficit and create more American jobs. Beijing is being selectively targeted. Trump wants to redesignate China as a non-market economy. This unfolding disruption has many consequences. The US is the world's largest economy, a major consumer, and a tech superpower. The world trades in its currency. It's said when the US sneezes, the world catches cold. Now, the US has gone berserk and the world is panicked. Trump has paused the imposition of reciprocal tariffs for 3 months. During this period, we would see a wave of trade liberalization worldwide as countries try to restore normal trade relations with USA. Any trade liberalization impacts local economies and jobs in the short and medium term. And this wave is big. Emerging economies will bear their share of the fallout. But for them, the biggest danger lies in the possibility of dumping by China. China had created massive production capacity to cater the US and the West. Trump doesn't want to give them a second chance. Even if the rest of the world resumes normal trade relations with the US, China has to face high tariffs. This would reduce Beijing's ability to sell its products in the US and possibly also in Europe. Meanwhile, China's domestic economy is struggling and growth is slow. To keep the wheels turning, Beijing will have to dump its surplus production in emerging markets. And that's huge. China has been dumping goods in the emerging markets since the US-China tariff war began in 2017. This trend peaked post-COVID. I recently watched a CMA Insider documentary on factory closures in Indonesia and Malaysia due to cheap Chinese imports. Businesses and industries across ASEAN expect the pace of Chinese dumping to increase hereafter. India, meanwhile, is moving towards free trade agreements with all major trade partners, including the US, but excluding China. Delhi is working on a tariff structure to maintain high safeguard duties on Chinese goods in sectors where they might threaten our domestic production. But for smaller economies with limited local industry, imposing safeguard tariffs on China will be extremely difficult. They will likely experience a major hit to local production. Countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, and much of Africa, which were enticed by Chinese financing over the last decade and are now struggling with repayment, are staring at the biggest crisis. China may offer debt relief in exchange for greater access to their local markets. Local manufacturing jobs will vanish like never before. The full impact may take a year or two to unfold, but it is coming. And job losses often lead to political unrest. So side effects of the trade war can't be ruled out. Thank you for watching Perspective. If you like the episode, please share it. फिर मिलेंगे. Happy Poila Boishak and Shubho Navaborsho.